Coppin State. Now, I said the craziest, but definitely one of the craziest stories you ever heard in sports. I'm going to play a quick video clip so you guys who haven't heard can hear.
This may be the wildest story in the history of college basketball. Former Coppin State basketball player Ivan Williams filed a lawsuit accusing assistant coach Lucien Brownlee of catfishing him and coercing him into sending intimate photos and texts. Allegedly, Brownlee had approached Williams online disguising himself as a woman pretending to be romantically interested in Williams. Williams sent explicit photos and videos of himself for years with no clue that those images were going to his assistant coach. Brownlee eventually approached Williams saying that he was also being catfished by the woman and that she was blackmailing them into recording a sexual encounter with each other. Williams agreed to it out of fear that his intimate pictures would get leaked and he would lose his scholarship. He also wanted to protect his assistant coach in the process. After the request was met, Williams stopped responding to the woman, aka assistant coach Brownlee, and Brownlee became so upset that he leaked all the pictures as well as the videotaping. Williams apparently went to his head coach, Juwan Dixon, husband of Real Housewives of Potomac star Robin Dixon, who basically did nothing for Williams and made him show up to practice a day after everything leaked like nothing happened. On top of that, Williams lost his scholarship because of the incident. For more updates on this story, follow Bailey Jackson Sports.
Now, if you didn't catch that crazy story, go ahead, Pink, and just briefly.
Okay, so your Coppin State basketball player is approached, social media wise, by what appears to be a woman who's expressing interest in him. This then sort of, he sends her some pictures, private stuff, and then it kind of turns weird where the assistant basketball coach at the school where he plays is like, hey man, I'm getting kind of harassed by this lady too. She's threatening to disclose these pictures and it's really embarrassing and whatever. And then it kind of turns into, hey, if we record a sexual encounter between the two of us, the pictures won't come out. And so basically this guy agrees to offer up a blowjob to coach and record it to protect his scholarship or and I guess his reputation. But, I mean, it's just an insane story because, like, what is going on? Like, as the assistant coach, if you're a homosexual, like, there are websites where you can go do things. There's probably clubs in your town where you can go do things. Like, why are you doing this to a kid on the team?
Maybe he needs Doc Rivers to mentor him. Doc knows all the sites, man.
He knows all the sites.
Doc knows all the websites.
But it's the crazy. I mean, and again, my reading of this is just like really weird fetish behavior.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that like this guy, this coach, kind of gets off not just on the physical act of intimacy, but on the whole thing of the catfishing, of the leading somebody on, in leading somebody to a place of having this homosexual encounter that they're not really comfortable having, and the power or whatever, the manipulation of that. It transcends the bust a nut part of this, and it's into something deeper, and it's horrifying, really.
It really is. Just hearing this outrageously crazy story, you get all these different like comments and thoughts in your head. First of all, we didn't talk when we talked about this off air. We didn't talk enough about the player, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, the player in this, like, we're in 2022, whenever this was, 2021 or 22, whatever it is. We have enough evidence. You have grown up with social media. No one should be getting seriously catfished in today's era. We have
right.
Too many instances, too many famous. There's just no way, right? That's number one. Number two, when you do get catfished the way he did, okay, you send in pictures, that can be done, all right? I've sent enough D pics in my lifetime to where I could get caught up in that situation too. But when it comes to the point where now you have to do a sexual act with this man here
and record it.
That's where you like okay, now you're off the hook for me feeling sorry or feeling bad for you, because now you're entering a place where there's a part of you that wanted to do it. Okay, there's no man like if I ain't gonna say a man, a heterosexual man. Like if we're facing whatever 20 years in prison, and you tell me, hey, suck this guy thing and record it, and then you won't go to prison.
You're good.
I'm going to prison. I know you can say, oh, you never been in prison, never been in that situation. No.
And then somebody will make you do more for 20 years.
Well, fuck it, that's my choice.
Oh.
But I'm not like you're not going to you like there has to be a piece of him that wanted to do that. And if so, that's fine. But just don't paint the story to where I was taken advantage of. And this is what happened to me, and this is my story, and this. No, man, there's a piece of you that wanted that too, and while we're ragging on the coach, which you're a scumbag for doing it this way, but he picked that player for a reason.
No.
He saw something in that player to where, hey, I might can get with that, but I might have to do it this way to get with him.
No, I was talking to somebody else about this, and like there's a lot of stuff going on because again, at the end of the day, like you look at the player, it's like, okay, you sent some dick pics, like even if these come out publicly, like it is 2022,
yeah,
like the school's not going to automatically terminate your scholarship because that happened. I mean, they could check the cell phones of the whole damn roster and find pics sent to others. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yes.
Like you're almost over. You're almost like over fearing something that's just not that bad, as far as that goes. And then particularly like once you realize you've been catfished, it's like, okay, well, do what you're gonna do.
Yes.
You're the idiot that catfished me.
Right.
But again, you go back and 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're just not, you don't think as clearly, you don't have as much experience and things like that, and you're more susceptible to that. Now, the one thing, and I'm a big psychology guy. The one thing I would say is when you're in those 18, 19, 20-year-old time period, typically you're really kind of drifted away and isolated from your parents in the sense that you're never telling them everything that you're doing.
No.
If you're smashing girls, if you're robbing banks, whatever you're into, even you're drinking and stuff like that, they're never going to know the full story.
No.
And so you're already in this place where you're doing a lot of stuff that you're not comfortable telling your parents. Now, you get in this situation, and this is a little bit where we had the Notre Dame guy. You kind of get caught up in this thing where you're like, shit, this is really stupid. Yeah. Now you don't feel comfortable telling your peers and your friend circle, the rest of the guys on the team, this, that, and other. You're like, hey, let me just find a way to take this L and and just keep it quiet, nobody, and move on. And so it's that next isolation thing, and that's why I think the coach was very clever in how he kind of did this. Then his move is to kind of come to you and be like, yo, man, I'm going through the same thing. Mm-hmm. Now you're isolated from probably, your parents, your family. You can't tell them this. You're isolated and you're embarrassed around your teammates. But now this one person is telling you, man, I know where you're at. I'm here too.
Right.
And it's like it becomes psychologically very appealing to kind of put some trust or open up to that person because you literally don't have anybody else in that situation. And again, if you look from the sexual predator standpoint, like the coach, he picks this guy for a reason. Yeah. Maybe, maybe he sees that the guy is like socially isolated. Maybe he sees that this is a player that isn't really like grounded and balanced. Because again, a lot of the sexual predators, they prey on like broken home people that have been through like adversity and trauma and things like that. And that's what they go for. So he probably saw some stuff in this guy. Maybe even he saw something about this guy and his mannerisms where he thought, yeah, he might be susceptible to, engaging in some homosexual activity. Like, we're not sure, but like it's possible. But he definitely saw something where this guy's a mark.
Yeah.
Because you look at the coach and has 12, 15 guys that he has this same proximity to. He chooses one for a reason.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, and as far as that goes, So, I mean, again, and we literally say this every week. When something stupid happens, there's no shortage of blame. Like the guy, like again, like you said, at some point, like it's like, dude, You have a choice: suck a penis, or just like stand up and say, "This is bullshit. Do what you need to do."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna weather the storm. And he chose to suck the penis.
Yeah.
That tells you something about him.
Yeah.
You know, and then the coach, like this whole weird thing, man. If you're a homosexual guy, there's plenty of ways to meet dudes and do what you want to do.
Now your whole career is done. Nobody's hiring you after this.
Nobody's hiring you after
and
this.
you can pull the I'm gay. No, they're not hiring you because you're a homosexual, because you're gay, whatever. The correct term is they're because you went through this outrageously way to get a kid, whatever, to do whatever to you, and that's I don't know. He does need to be reprimanded for that. I don't know if he's facing jail time or not.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Rules around
Catfishing's like such a thing. Like, are there any criminal charges on the books for catfishing? I have no idea.
I believe there is.
It may depend on state as well, because it would probably be a state law situation.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see if there is any, criminal charges that would apply to essentially catfishing somebody.
Yeah, and to be honest, the kid, he looks worse now than, like you said, than he would have if he just let the D-pics surface.
Yeah.
He looks much better. He looks much worse now. But being that he was the quote unquote victim in this case, he's going to move on just fine. If he's a fine basketball player, he's going to move on and do good things in basketball. If not, then he'll graduate and do whatever he's going to do with his life and his career.
Yeah.
But the coach is done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Again, at the end of the day, you're coaching college guys. Like, nobody's gonna ever want you to do that again.
Yeah.
Like, based on the way you conduct yourself.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.